Yeah, he's been doing well. He's banged up a little bit, so he's been in and out of the training room, but he's going to be fine. We just got to continue to work through that. But when he was out there, he was doing a good job, and he's going to be a good football player. He's playing multiple positions for us right now, whether it be safety, whether it be dime linebacker or wheel linebacker. So he's doing a bunch of multiple things for us right now.
Ben?
What have you seen kind of from your first unit defensive line, and what are you kind of looking more for from some of those backups?
Tell you what, you look at the combination of Jabari Ellis, Kier Thomas, Zach Pickens, and Rick Sandage. Those four guys have played a lot of football for us. And then you look at guys like Alex Huntley, guys like Micaiah Scott, guys that's going to come in and contribute as well. So I like where we are there. We got to continue to develop. I think Coach Rock is doing a great job. He's extremely hard on those guys, and they need it. And it's been really good, and it's been really fun to be around him as he developed those guys into guys that way. And then outside at defense end, you look at Aaron Sterling, you look at Brad, you look at Tonka, you look at from a buck position, you look at JJ, you look at Hot Rod, Rodriguez. I mean, you look at some of those guys right there that are coming along. So I'm excited about where we are in that department. We got to keep developing those guys. You know how it is, man, with this. With the COVID stuff going on, like I tell our guys all the time, everyone have to be ready. No one can be assuming that they're not going to play, because we can hear something on a Friday, something on a Wednesday that a guy's not up. Next guy got to be ready to come in and be ready to play. So it's that mentality, and we're getting all the guys ready for those situations.
Colin Taylor?
Yeah, T-Rob, I guess the word dime linebacker has been kind of thrown around a lot for people that may not know a whole lot about football, myself included. I guess kind of what is the dime linebacker, and what kind of skills do you look for when you're evaluating a guy to play that spot?
Yeah, so you look at a guy that have instincts in the box. He's big enough that he can fit in the box, fit some runs, be able to disengage off some offensive linemen at times. But he have to be the guy that's more of a combo guy that can do some covering stuff for us. We ask him to go in the middle of the field and be a deep part of the middle of the field a lot of times. We ask him to play some man-to-man, maybe trail technique on a receiver. So he had to be a versatile guy, like a linebacker, but has a DB experience. So more so like a nickel. So if you had to just say what is a dime, it'll be identical to a nickel, probably a little bigger, because we're going to ask him to be more in the box, more so than we would a nickel.
Gene Sepko?
You just said how everybody's going to have to be ready this year. Do you think across college football we're going to see at some point, because of COVID situations, more walk-ons than ever playing meaningful snaps?
I mean, you never know. I mean, to be honest with you, because of the contact tracing and all the stuff that goes on with it, you have no idea how that's going to work out. So as a coach, right now, we're trying to prepare as many guys as we can at different roles. And I had a big meeting with the DBs. It's about the more you know, the more you can help. Guys that as one positional guys, that ain't really what's it anymore. You got to be guys that can play multiple spots. It's more like an NFL roster when you start talking in terms of dealing with 53 people that's got to do different things and special teams, and all hands got to be on deck. And our guys know that. And our guys prepared for that. And that's what we have to get ready to do as we move forward to September 26th.
Ben Brenner.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask just what was it about Joey Hunter that made him a guy you wanted to move from safety to corner kind of in the midst of camp, and what does he sort of bring to that position in terms of length and his physicality?
Yeah, he's a big dude. He got long arms. He got a big, long, wide arm frame, and we're excited about him. He's a talented young man. He's working hard. He's trying. We're playing him outside at corner because I think, with his length and being able to play bump and run and things that he's able to do, I think he can help us out there a lot quicker than he can help us at safety. But we're going to keep his foot in safety a little bit. And, he played a little bit of nickel and some walkthroughs, and he'll do a little bit of that tomorrow in the scrimmage. So we're excited about Joey. Joey got to keep continuing to develop, and he will. He's a hard worker, and he's going to be fine.
Mike Uba.
T-Rob, Will last night was saying that in order for this defense to be successful this year, you guys are going to have Cam Smith step up. What have you seen? And I'm sure this could be a long answer, but what have you seen in terms of his growth from freshman year to now heading into year two?
Well, first of all, he's gained a little weight, and don't get this misconstrued with a lot of weight. He's 182, 83 right now. He's a naturally thin guy, and he has to get bigger and stronger, and that's one of the things that he's been working on. But he's probably one of the quickest guys back there in the secondary as far as just his feet. He does a great job with that. We're just working on some of the discipline things with his hands and grabbing and things like that. So, I was on Twitter, Coach Muschamp and myself, and we saw that the Giants put some tennis balls in a couple of guys' hands. So we went out and utilized that and used that in our practice a couple of times, and we'll use it throughout the course of next week just to help us with some of the penalties that we got last year. And I think that can help Izzy, that can help him, that can help JC on some of the things that we got, just the handsy stuff. But Cam's a guy who's very intelligent. He do well in the classroom. He do well on the field. And he's a guy that can learn everything. So now it's just utilizing skill set and just getting him more confident. And that's the one thing that Cam and we talk about a lot, is just the confidence of the player. Having the confidence to go out and do what you're talented enough to do. And he's more than talented to do that. And right now, I think it's good. He's getting pushed by Izzy, getting pushed by JC, because they understand that we need him. And same thing with John Dixon. So those guys right there, and they're battling for that next spot, and they're doing a good job of it.
David?
T-Rob, I know that Ernest has been out, but he will be coming back maybe next week or so. And Damani's been playing really well in his place. My question is, when Ernest comes back, is there going to be a true competition in there, or is Ernest, done enough in the past to say he'll probably still take that starting role and Damani will kind of be the 1A guy?
Yeah, right now it's it's always competition, obviously. So nothing is given. But Ernest is a guy who's played a lot of football for us, and he played Mike for us, and he's been a really good football player for us. Damani is a guy, and we wanted to train him for the first time at Mike because he never played that before. And I thought it was a great time while Ernest being out for Damani to get some of those reps like that. But Ernest, Sherrod, and Damani, those guys will be fighting for who starts. And I think that's good for all of those guys because it's going to make them practice the right way. They're going to understand that it's a competition every week at that position. So we'll have no idea how that's going to work, but those guys, it'll be up to those guys on how they play. But I'm excited about getting Ernest back. He's been doing a little more with the football team as of late. Some of the walkthrough stuff that he can't do full speed stuff, but he can do some of the walkthroughs and things like that we're having. So that's been exciting to see him out there and hear him out there because he's our vocal leader.
Colin Taylor?
T-Rob, are you pleased right now with where you are defensively in terms of forcing turnovers? I know that was kind of a big struggle last year. Where are you guys about halfway through camp?
I wouldn't use the word pleased in that right now. We definitely need to get better. I think our offense, they do a great job of protecting the football with the different things that Mike's doing over there. So we got to do a better job of forcing fumbles more so than interceptions. I think that's got to be the next step, guys, second man in. And it's hard to do that when you're in third tempo and you're not tackling because you're worried about thudding the guy. You ain't worried about getting the football. Then we're blowing a whistle after the third. So I think, the scrimmage will be indicative of where we are when we're bringing guys to the ground, some in some aspects of it. And next man in, thinking about the football and so on and so forth. So, it'd be interesting to see how Saturday go as far as getting the football. I'm excited about our guys. I told them they need to treat this as game day. We're doing everything in the evening time as we would September 26th. So it'd be good for our guys to get that feeling of what game day is like and will it be.
John Whittle's next.
Yeah, T-Rob, what are the goals for the scrimmage this weekend? Are there some things that you want to see different this scrimmage than what you saw in the first one last weekend?
The one thing that I would say, I thought the effort was good. I didn't think it was fantastic. And I asked our guys the other day, when you turn on the tape and you watch the Gamecock play, what do you want someone to say about you? And you want them to say they're a relentless football team, and your tape should show that. And one thing that I told those guys, we ain't finishing guys off. We ain't doing the things that we need to do to when people turn on our tape, they're saying the stuff that we envision them saying about us. So I think that's one of the things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the older guys to not make any mistakes, be able to communicate. They've been in this defense for quite a bit, and we hadn't changed a whole bunch. So those guys should be good as far as assignments is concerned. Now, a young guy and that Garnet and White group, those guys, I told those guys play fast, and the mistakes are on me. We need to limit the call list for those guys. If that's what we need to do for them to play fast, then that's what we'll do. But, for the older guys, we're looking for some more turnovers, which we mentioned earlier, and then just have better, of an intimidating type style of play. And I think that's what we need to get on, and I think that's what our guys understand.
I know Coach Muschamp said last week that that stopping the run with the second team group was not good enough. What have you seen out of those guys over practice this week? Have y'all been able to do a little bit better job of that?
I don't think we have, to be honest with you. I think that's something that we got to continue to work on and continue to talk about, and that goes into the details of discipline and doing your job, and not trying to do something that you aren't supposed to do and try to make a play you aren't supposed to make. If it calls for you to stay in A gap, stay in A gap, and our guys are doing that, and I think they're going to continue to get better at that. But that goes to sitting in the meeting room, all right, with the whole defense and kind of going through a couple of plays with those guys. This is why this play wasn't successful, or vice versa. This is why this play was successful because we did our job. But we got to continue to do that. And, Bobo and his offense, they give you a bunch of different schemes, a bunch of different things to prepare for. And our guys got to do a great job of setting edges and things like that. And we getting better with it, not where we need to be by any means. But I think if we continue on the path that we're doing, we'll be fine. And it's the communication with the young group. And that's probably what Coach Muschamp was referring to, just the communication of the young groups doing it right and staying in the gaps and doing the things like that it takes to be a real good run-stopping defense.
David?
T-Rob, Mike was in here, and he might have been joking. I'm not really sure about saying he wouldn't mind seeing a couple of corners get a couple of receptions over on the wide receiver room. Is that a serious thing? Have you guys had any serious reps with JC and Izzy maybe going out there trying to catch a few?
Well, not so far. We haven't had many. They went over there a couple times and messed around. But you look at how you're using Luke. You look at how he's using, the carry on and some of those different guys. I mean, he's very creative. And that's something that I can foresee him doing. And if those guys got the win to do it, I would love for him and be happy for him to go out and help our football team in any capacity that they may be able to do that to. But right now, those guys are perfecting their craft and in the secondary in that corner, understanding that they're going to have to play good outside for us to be successful.
Go to Ben.
Coach, last year you guys faced probably one of the more impressive groups of offenses that anyone faced kind of in the country. Are there lessons that you guys can take from that and you can carry over into this year from the guys having sort of experienced that kind of thing last season?
Yeah, I think it's always lessons when you're getting whooped. We played some experienced offense. We played some really good quarterbacks, some really good, offensive coordinators that was doing some different things. So, we go back, we look at the tape. We look at our negative plays. That's the first thing. We hardly ever look at our positive plays, and this is what was good about it. I mean, that's something that as coaches, that's not a big priority for us. But as coaches, we want to point out the negative stuff and what can we do to correct this from happening again. And you look back at the Tennessee game from last year, we gave up some explosive plays. You look at some of the Florida stuff coming out of the middle of the field with some of the safety play, wasn't what we wanted. So just different things like that. And really when it shows up in practice, I think we do a good job as a staff, and Coach Muschamp encourages us to go back and show them in between plays of what happened in practice and then when did that same play happen in the game, and it looked the exact same way and it didn't work out. So just trying to show those guys and give them some more visuals of certain things like that, I think that helps the guys. And, we will go back as a staff and look through everything and make sure that we're on the same page with everything. We'll move from there.
Colin Taylor.
Hey, Tira, you kind of talked in your first availability about JC at punt return. How has he looked? Has he kind of taken that mantle a little bit? What have you seen from Jamie there as well?
I think he's doing a really good job. We have some good competition back there. Jamie Robinson back there a bunch. Trey Atkins been back there a bunch. Xavier been back there a bunch, and even Shop been back there a bunch. So, those guys are competing. We hadn't really just identified the guy yet. So I think that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks or a week or so. But they're all doing a great job and have equal amount of catches, and everything's being charted. And the guy that catches the best and the guys that don't put the ball in jeopardy, guys that, can communicate to the punt turn team to get away from the football when it's on the ground. We got, those guys going to play. So, those guys understand it. They all want to do it. And that's the best thing about it, because that hadn't always been the case. Some guys, that punt is a little different back there. And I think those guys have stepped up to the table and they want to do it. And I'm excited about it. So they got to continue to work on it. But they'll be ready to rock and be able to catch it and go, because that cost us a bunch of field position last year.
Are y'all going to do any live punt this weekend in the scrimmage?
Yeah, so we'll do some of that, and just to get those guys some looks. And my biggest thing was on third down. We in a long series, 3rd and 8. They get it. 3rd and 6, they get it. All right, then we get them off the field the next third down, and JC or Jamie or whoever end up being the punt return, they're tired, and they got to go back and make a catch. So coach would do that and give them some game day realistic looks of going back there and catching it while they're tired. And so I think that's going to be important for those guys. And that's us as coaches, is trying to put them in the best, game day situations we possibly can. So when they get in the game, they done it before. And I think that's one of the things that we'll be looking forward to see this Saturday at the scrimmage.
Gino?
I don't know if you cross paths after games or on the recruiting trail with Tony Elliott, but basically, what, if any, kind of relationship do you and Tony have?
I know Tony very well. We did a bunch of speaking engagements together, but he's a great dude, and he's a great football coach, and he does a great job. But I know Tony very well.
Phil?
Yeah. Hey, T-Rob. From your position as a defensive coach facing a Mike Bobo offense, how do you rate him as an offensive guru? Do you put him in the Steve Spurrier category? Is he a guy from a defensive coordinator standpoint that kind of will keep you up late at night trying to figure out what he's thinking and the schemes that he might throw at you at any moment?
Yeah, I really do. I think he does a great job. You look at the offense. If I had to just say, it reminds me of, one of the New England Patriots type offense, a bunch of different personnel groupings, a bunch of different people on the field playing a bunch of different spots. And I think as a defensive coordinator, that's hard because you never know what's going to happen on third down. They can be in 12, they can be in 21, they can be in different sets, and it's hard to prepare for all that stuff in the course of a game week. I think he does a great job with the quarterback. I think, just managing the game, managing practice. We've been doing a little different. We do more move the ball than probably we had done in years past. So we're just out there just playing football so our kids can get used to playing first down, second down, then running third down on the field. Normally in a college practice, you have different groups where we'll just do all 1st and 10, or we'll just all third down. But I think it's been a little different this year with the amount of move the ball, because we're so ahead as far as the installation is concerned, based off, doing all the OTAs and the different things we're able to do to them that we wasn't able to do in years past. That we're playing a little more football than we normally would at this point. And our kids are doing a great job. So I'm getting a chance to not script practice and know what's coming, kind of go through it and understand what he's trying to do, what sets, what we're in. And I think he does a great job of doing that stuff.
John Whittle?
Yeah, what does the depth chart look like at the Buck position? Who's kind of emerging there behind JJ?
Right now, it's JJ is the Buck, and nickel, then probably be Brad and Jordan Birch, and then Hot Rod right there in the mix with those guys as well. But, JJ has really stepped his game up. He looks like a different football player, and he need to continue to do that. But I'm excited about his season, and he need to help us. He's talented enough to help us in a major way, and we're looking forward to him doing that.
Thanks.
Colin Taylor? Go ahead. You have a follow-up?
No, thank you.
Okay. Colin?
Here, I can ask Mike the same question, but what's a successful year for this defense look like? And as you kind of evaluate what's good and what's not good, what statistics or numbers do you typically look at to kind of gauge whether or not you guys are having success?
You know what? The first thing I look at is always stopping the run. I think that's very important. We need to do a better job of stopping the run and forcing more second and long situations or third and long situations. And I think we're more than capable of doing that. I think the discipline of guys doing what they're supposed to do and not, doing crazy things, trying to make plays and playing within the scheme of the defense. I think that's the most important thing. Then we talk in terms of the ball, how many turnovers, and third down and red zone efficiency. We want to be 70% on third down, being able to get people off. And then in the red area, we want to force guys to kick field goals. Over the years past, we played decent red zone defense, third down, and sometimes in some years, in the last 4 years, we struggled at times at doing that. And we got to do a better job, whether it's me calling it different, whether it's more pressure or things like that, which we looked at, during the off season, and got a chance during this quarantine to go back and watch a bunch of different teams and what they were doing on third down, and kind of went through a bunch of things like that. So we'll look into some of those things as well.